speaker, Tyrone M. from Chicago.
Yo, Steve, you gonna walk in late on my talk? That's my friend. That's my friend. My name is Tyrone. I am an addict. And as always, I'm grateful to Almighty God for everything. See, it's easy to recover your ass off when things is going your way. But can you recover when things is going downhill and your life's in a spiral just like it was when you was using? We always hear people say, God is good, and the congregation say all the time. But what about them moments when your ass on fire, clean, and ain't no dope in sight? What about when you done got in the 20 to life group and things start to spiral out and you can't understand what you doing wrong because you've done everything right for so long you think what you doing wrong is right? Yeah, I ain't come here to play with y'all ass tonight. I got my Dog Night Rises outfit on, and I was teasing with my man earlier, was up in hospitality, and I was telling him about it. I said, man, listen, I came to Narcotics Anonymous in an emergency. And our literature says in the 12th step in the flat book, it talks about we got to talk about the dope. This is a program that dope has become a major problem. And if you don't talk about the dope, you really may not be in the right program. I came here in an emergency. I was on fire. You know how the young people say they burn up. I was burned up way back. I started using, they were selling $2, $3 buttons of Doogie. Most of y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. That's how old I am. When I was using it, wasn't fashionable. You was a hype, a junkie, wasn't no addict. You was a dope fiend, a hype. Nobody wanted to be bothered with you. Nobody. So I got to share a little bit about the dope. Then I'm going to get on what happened and when the emergency came about and how it is today. But it's great to be back in Vegas. I ain't been here in a while. The young lady was telling me, said last time I was here, it was at the Riviera. They've been tore that down years ago. Another sign of getting old. One of the things the program didn't prepare us for is this piece that we going through now. If you like me, you in your mid 60s or damn near out of 60, and there was no literature on getting old. Getting old brings on a whole new set of circumstances in recovery. I mean, because when y'all see the young people, they full of vibrant, they full of energy. You know, I got here, I was 38 years old. I had been using 25 years. I had ruined 2 good lives. I mean, I had ruined 2 good lives. My young life as a little gang-banging teenager on the south side of Chicago. Then I had a great position in my career, and I tore both of them lives up. Then I got here to the program and started working the steps backwards. Tore up another life. Because you know you can get here and all of a sudden get really literature slick and trick yourself into believing that the same lie you told yourself using, you believe it clean. You know, after a few shares and a few meetings and I got a lot out of that, you go to walking hand in hand with the higher power, laying hands on newcomers. Now, I ain't the only one. Y'all laughing. I ain't the only one guilty of that. All the rest of you old timers know we all done laid hands on the newcomer. That's how you stay clean. You carry the message. So as I get wound up, I'm trying to get the kinks off me because he told me I had about 45 minutes. After that, you start lying when you got a lot of time. But the literature is really important, and I'm wondering, in the Midwest, we do the literature. We book thumpers. We walk, we come to the meeting with our book and tell a newcomer, you can use mine. My third wife, she had 30 days clean, and I told her, listen, I got enough clean time for me and you both. I'll share all over the world, and I'll keep you clean. That was my third wife. Number 4, she just escaped. And when you open up a convention, you want to open the convention up. We want to loosen up here. We don't want to be walking around with the tight ass and shit. That spooks the newcomer. You ever go one of them meetings, man, where everybody in the meeting sad? Just think if you went to the meeting and everybody in the meeting whining and crying about their problems and ain't nobody got a solution. The 12th step in the flat book says, as we've learned from our predecessors, having a single purpose is probably one of the most effective ways of ensuring that the opportunity will remain for the addict to find the identification he needs. Soon as you get here, you got to say something about the dope. That's why we say the first step in it works hand. Why I say we surrender when we raise our hand and we say our name and we say, and I am an addict. It's all inclusive. We know you a lie, steal, and sell yourself. We don't care about you thought you was a call girl. They was calling your ass from the corner to the car. We don't care nothing about that. We know all the brothers was having keys and Z's till your money ran out, then you was a runner. Everybody was hooked up to the cartel. That's it. And that's okay. That's okay. When you first get here, we expect you to lie. It's just automatic. I know when I first got here, I lied to everybody talked to me. Because that's what I knew. So newcomer, lie till you figure out that you're lying. We already know. So, but in the 12th step it says, if NA tried to be all things to all people, an addict might walk in, wanting only know how to stop using drugs, and not be able to find anyone who knew. That's why we talk about the dope. Dope whooped me. It was an emergency. I ain't met nobody who came in before me didn't come in an emergency. This is not a fellowship in the society of men and women who too much coochie, too many cookies. The literature, that's why the literature is so important. It says we don't have to think twice about this question. We know. Soon as you get here and sit in that seat and get your coffee, we know. We don't care if you come up in a Rolls Royce or a Lamborghini. When you walk in the NA, you got a problem. This is not a fellowship in society of Harvard men and Yale women. This is where you don't come to find new social acceptability. You get here, you burn up. So I used dope. I took a hit, then the hit took a hit, then the hit took the man. The program is just that simple. Don't go to try and figure out all the rest of that stuff. That'll come later on when you get some step work. Don't figure nothing out. See, I came in August of 89, but my clean date's in December because I came in and started figuring shit out. Don't do no figuring. When I was new, I would raise my hand to me and say, I was thinking. They said, hold it, put your hand down. And by the way, where did that thought process start? Because wherever the thought process starts for one of us, when we knew there was a crime committed. Because my best thinking, the literature said, got me into trouble. My best thinking told me to marry that 30-day newcomer. My best thinking I was 5 years clean then, yo. And my best thinking at 5 years said, take the newcomer by the hand, buy her a book. I had a great NA wedding with 12 traditions and 12 steps, all dressed in basic text blue. I'm just sharing my story. I'm talking about after the dope. See, after the dope, the fiend needs to recover. You put the dope down, but the fiend come to meetings. See, the fiend come to meetings, get a reading. And one of the greatest challenges I know I'm facing today is that the ADD that comes with the disease of addiction don't want to let me pay attention in the meetings. Now, I'm going to start a little trouble, but since I got a round trip ticket, that's okay. Our literature says something that's so powerful, man, that it shook me the other day. Because I only make literature study groups. I don't go to toxic and distortion meetings. I only go to meetings where I can learn how to live with the disease of addiction. And any English word that has ION on it means it's got more than one component. You put the dope down, but the ION came on. And with time, I'm now challenged with the disease of addiction because it's manifesting itself in a variety of mental obsession and compulsive actions got nothing to do with dope. I went through a period, man, where after I got rid of the third wife or she run off or put me out, that I turned into a porn star. I'm talking about the disease of addiction. With time. See, I always expose old timers. Clean time don't exempt you from the pain and misery that addiction can bring. This is literature here. And you'll find yourself in some spaces and places with your time where your time won't let you come to the meeting and get the help that you need, because with clean time comes some built-in components, an image and an ego. And your ego won't let you raise your hand and say you in pain because the relationship that you done jumped aboard this ship done went down, and you can't come and share the exact nature until the fellowship see them walking in together in their husband and husband outfits and know they ain't with you no more. I'm just talking about with time. Let me get my glasses so I can read. One thing about getting old, shit go to wearing out. You know, just like we all used to be wheeling and dealing with our heels to the ceiling. But you'll get to a point in life, the shit you used to do all night, you're going to be happy to do it at night. After years of recovery, we can look back at the work we've done and be grateful and satisfied. And we can see the terrible gaps in it as well. So from 5 to 10, I was sharing like Shakespeare, living like a reindeer. Going from city to city like a kid playing hooky. Just enjoying the benefits the program has to offer. Because we do that. The program offers so many things that you can get excited and forget your primary purpose. And when you get distracted, that's why the sixth tradition says, man, we get distracted with money, property, and relationships. And when it comes to relationships, you know, it's like any good addict. If it feel good, taste good, smell good, I want to. Not knowing that the deep underlying issues of insecurity and inadequacy would never let me see you have one whole wholesome relationship. I ain't never been monogamous. I heard that word, it turned my stomach. You mean, I'm an only child, so you need to know who's talking. I'm a Leo only child. I am a terrorist. Because I believe I should have everything I want all the time. Now you couple that with addiction. And right now I still play with people y'all can't see. Just like any other addict. Let me tell you, our literature is real clear. It said we at least two people. At least two people. And then you use drugs for a long time, you got the two people plus they people. And when you take a picture, you take a group picture. And what I realized after year 10, when you had the first pop at 5 and the second pop at 10, and you realize you waste 10 years bullshitting, that you've been doing these microwave steps and the real spiritual principles embodied in the steps and traditions ain't really taking effect in your life because your life is in shambles. I'm standing on the corner of 103rd and Cottage Grove. It's January the 13th. It's a blizzard, and I got my plastic garbage bag again. Good sharing ass. Homeless. Imagine being homeless 10 years clean. Now, I left out that I just retired after a 42-year career, right? And folks said, how do a dope fiend keep a job 42 years? Because he need to use. When I came to the program, I had 20 years on the railroad. I came to the program, I was already doing this. I was a motivational speaker for the Chicago Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I used to go to schools and tell the kids, listen, if you want a wonderful career, you want a great life, you should be like me. And then I'd nod. I'm just saying, you need to know who people are. So a lot of y'all didn't know that it's people that keep jobs a long period of time. And so when I retired after 42 years, 3 months and 18 days, and it was wonderful. But along the way, after I'd been clean for a while, the reality of the gaps that was in between recovery and my life. So you can get to recovery and forget to live. You can get to recovering and forget what your primary purpose is to grow spiritually and connect back with the God of your understanding. See, I had become a little apostle of my own self. I was walking hand in hand with the higher power. You didn't know how to share unless you shared like me. Your message wasn't very clear because you were saying things like sober and you were an ander. Y'all know what anders are, right? They're alcoholics and the addict. But our language is real clear. For identification, we stick with what works for us. This has worked for me. And when I got clear with what the language was supposed to do, how it felt in my spirit when I realized I was a front row seat to a nothing show and the reruns had got boring. I don't know if you've been watching reruns in your life, what that feels like when you see somebody have that same look of disgust in their face again because you've acted out on one of your less enduring character traits and hurt somebody else. When you realize that the step work you should have done in 6 was all frauds. I don't know if you've been a fraud clean. When you wake up and you done had so much makeup on the mask, you can't tell the mask from the makeup. And if you ain't been being you, not being yourself is identity theft. See, you can't pretend to be serene. You can't fake like you happy. You can't keep on taking service positions so you don't have to go home because you're miserable at home. And the Living Clean got a piece says when we realize we have been seeking is not conscious contact, but conscious comfort. I wanted to be comfortable, but I wasn't willing to do the work on the inside so that my spirit could flow freely so I could be okay with myself. So I looked for things and people to make me feel adequate. You know what it's like to show up and pretend you somebody you not? You know what kind of energy it takes to put on outfit after outfit after outfit after outfit and change your hair, change your shoes. And as we get older, you need teeth, hips, hair. And we always would say, all I ever wanted to do was just be me. Well, who is me? And you look in the mirror one day and you don't recognize who's looking back at you because it's not you. It's a scary thing, Sincere, to come up to one day and realize I am a complete fraud. That I've been stealing my own happiness from myself. Damn, I must have said something that made everybody get quiet and shit. Sounds spooky. Because some spiritual awakenings are often rude awakenings. And at year 15, I got that rude awakening. I was then marrying my fourth wife, who had just beat me for 20 grand. But you know, we're addicted to what we like. Yeah. You ain't addicted to what you love, because what you love you treat better. But what you like, you'll hold on to for dear life. And it was something I liked it about her. You know what I mean? She made me feel like the porn star I always thought I was. And it didn't matter what it took to keep her doing what I like. And if you want to know how well somebody is treating you, see how you treat them when they quit doing what you like. Now, I don't want to start no relationship trouble. Because, you know, when it comes to relationships, I'm an expert on how to get out. I don't know how to stay in, so I tell people, I put my name on the phone list. Don't call me if you got relationship issues. I know how to get out. I got plenty of attorneys in my phone. But clean time don't exempt you from the pain and misery that addiction can bring. It really can be a setup sometime and work against you because it won't allow you to stay with the exact nature of who you are not become. See, you can do an inventory and see all the flaws, and you can see some of the good, but it's the flaws that you don't see, because remember, the disease of addiction makes it difficult, if not impossible, to see. So until I start doing the work to start getting the spiritual cataracts removed from my vision, because when your vision is blurred by what you know, it kills one of the indispensables called open-mindedness. And if anything like an attitude gets in the way, it don't have to be indifference or intolerance, just an attitude. I ain't going to that meeting because they say the same thing. I don't like so-and-so because they chair the meeting. An attitude. An attitude kills one of the most important indispensable, open-mindedness. I got to be willing to listen to you even though the same shit you said last week, you said it again this week. Until it's my turn and I'm going through it, and then I need somebody to say it because I can't. Because I've been so critical of you that now it's time for me to sit my ass on the hot seat. I'm afraid. 15 to 20 was some changes made in my life. On my 20th anniversary, my best friend died on my anniversary. And that day changed my approach to the recovery process. Because I realized one thing for certain and two things for sure, what he would say, ain't none of us getting out of this alive. And then I had another spiritual awakening. This came from divorce court. The judge told me, said, if money was meant to be held on to, to have handcuffs on it instead of presidents. And I quit letting money be my God. Because trust me, you ain't leaving here with nothing. We going to take everything off your ass. We was laughing about that upstairs earlier. We was talking about, man, you know, back in the game, we was in the day, said, man, just put a pack in the bag, in the casket with me. You ever seen anybody throw one in? You go to all them dope fiend funerals, you ain't never seen nobody put a pack in. Take this with you, homie. But life beyond addiction, man, offers some challenges. And some of those challenges, man, it started to happen in my 20th, between 20 and 25. I started to go through a whole new set of circumstances and conditions that made me alter my approach to the program. Step one got real. Not only did I realize how powerless I was over my addiction, I also accepted I was powerless over other people's. Because my then fourth wife was one of those people who would be, if I would be sharing now, she'd be down in the damn casino. And I didn't know that gambling was an addiction. So I tried to manage her addiction. I started hiding money under the coffee pot, some up under the lamp, some up under the pair of shoes, just like it was in active addiction with the dope. I'm talking about what addiction, when you're addicted to what you like. Ain't have nothing to do with the individual, it's what I like. And anything that you like more than you love yourself is a problem. And I took that run, man, for 4-5 years, and we would have $6,000 between us every 10 days and couldn't keep a dime. I'm talking about true addiction. True addiction when you can't stop. Even though it's obvious you need to stop. Even though it's obvious this is an emergency situation. Just like when you come to your first NA meeting, you're going to have some more emergencies clean. Just had a willingness to come to the meeting and raise your hand and say, I'm hurting. So I came to the meeting and I say, I'm hurting. I called I called Charlie and them. I called all over the country because I was hurting. And I had also watched enough crime scene investigation that I had planned her murder. I had decided how I was going to throw her out the window, make it look like she jumped. I'm talking about the magical magnifying mind of the addict who won't surrender and come to the NA and ask for the help. Because you know what? One of the things I found out about Narcotics Anonymous, you are geniuses. You have to be a genius to wake up with $2 and a good idea and use $200 worth of dope a day. You have to be a genius. And in Chicago, you know, it'd be cold in Chicago. And in January, in a blizzard with $2, walking from 59th Street to 22nd Street with a good idea. This is what I'm going to tell Momo now. See, what had happened was, that's why you can come to NA and get answers, man. We the people, we have performed miraculous things in other people's lives. Might not done too well with our own. But you can come to an NA meeting and get solutions. That's why we have to talk about the dope. We know what the dope was. We know what the dope is like. We know what the dope is like now. And we also know how not to use. So let's bring it on up current. So, as you know, we always hear people say, well, God's got a sense of humor. And I say, no, he's outright mean to me. Remember now, I'm a Leo only child. So my perception of things is always skewed by what I like. I like God to be doing what I like him to do. Period. So, about 7 years ago, I'm getting ready to retire. And I'd have made this fabulous plan. I'm going down to the islands. I'm getting my great railroad pension check sent to me. I'm going to have girls in little straw skirts or maybe no skirts at all. Because I'm still a porn star in my mind. Even though I'm 67 years old. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking I'm going to be doing all that I'm going to be doing because I'm going to have oodles of money and money buy you what you like. And my mom developed ovarian uterine cancer. And I realized then at that point exactly what the 12th step really meant. That it was going to be time to give back that which is most valuable that money can't buy. Time. And knowing that when you made your eighth and ninth step, you were making your list and you wanted to make the amends and you put the people's names on there, how is he going to make this thing work for you where you make some direct amends? See, most of the amends that we make in this process is usually indirect. But the ones that challenge us are the ones that we got to go directly and be directly responsible and give back that which we took. See, I robbed my mama of her rest. I stole her dreams. My mother put me through parochial schools in the 50s and 60s. I had a good fucking education. Even though I like to hang out at that other Institute of Higher Learning, OCU. For the newer members who don't know what OCU is, that's on the corner University. That's where you meet some very learned people like Snake, Dog, Pookie, Ray Ray, Big Butt Beulah, Skeezer Sally. And it's a funny thing about when you get your education in OCU, it's one of those institutes of higher learning that you pay for every lesson. For the newer members, you paid for yours too. Only y'all going to the University of Idiocracy. Because I'd be hearing the young people say some shit I'd be amazed. It's like you know when crackheads start coming to NA. I was amazed. Because I'm an old doper, man. I said, old dope thing, you could just tell us to go sit down and put some John Coltrane and we nod right on out like we was high. But you crackheads would be moving. Motherfucker, back and forth, back to fucking forth. And one day I started sponsoring one. And I said, man, well, let me ask you something. And this is when we taking my fourth wife to treatment because she'd relapsed. And I said, let me ask you something. Why her mouth keep moving and twitching and shit? He said, oh, Spons, them just her crackeristics. But I had to start giving something back that I'd never been willing to give. And my bestest bud said to me one time, he said, man, man. He said, this relationship thing ain't really for you. So I look at us and said, now, Mark, what kind of shit is that to say? You my best friend. He said, man, listen, you have to put time in a relationship. I said, what? Put time in. And my mother got sick. And at that time, I had to make a decision to trust God. Now, I don't know if you ever know what powerlessness feels like, where there's nothing, absolutely nothing that you can do. And to see her little frail body, she couldn't move, she could hardly get around, and to take her every day to chemo, go through the surgery, and watch the person that you love the most in your life to start to see the life leave from her. You really get to know God. And then you start having prayers with substance. And then you start to have a God that's of substance. And then you start to experience real hope because hope becomes real. You know, it's easy to share all that good spiritual shit when you rolling. But when you challenging, everything that you believe starts to come apart. And I had to make a decision to give up all them plans of the girls in the grass skirts, the girls with no skirts, and all that. I wasn't going down to the islands. I was going to be off Stony Island. I had to pack up my little DNA iniquity I'd been operating for 4-5 years and move in with my mother to take care of her. Now we talking about when surrender gets to the point that everything you plan, you got to give it up. Everything, you got to give it up. And give back what's most precious. Time. How do we spell love? T-I-M-E. Can you give your time to something or someone? And ain't no second shift. I'm an only child. Ain't no laying off because I don't feel good. Ain't no don't come. I came here and I got 5 caregivers there for her every day, whatever she needs. But to give back that which you took the most of. Just like every addict that comes to this program stole somebody's time. We broke somebody's heart. We left some people feeling untrustworthy. And this is when the step work gets real hard when we get past 7, because the first 7 steps is all selfish, it's all about you. You ain't included nobody else. But when it comes to putting them names on that 8-step list and making a real admission that you ain't shit yet, clean. It's easy to do all that good www.stepwork.com shit. MagicSponsor.com. But there'll come a moment, and my moment came, I had to go back to the very source. And I asked my main man, Mark, I said, man, listen, this ain't going to work out real good, And he said, man, you have to pray. Pray and believe that your prayers are being heard. Most of us pray don't even believe that prayers is being heard. So she went through the surgery. She got through that. We started doing the treatments. She came on to the other side. And in that, I realized something about myself. When my mother was diagnosed, the first thing popped in my head is, damn, what's going to happen to me? Now imagine that. She get diagnosed, and I say what's going to happen to me. We talking about the disease of addiction with time. So don't be shocked if you find yourself meeting a stranger clean. Because that's who you're going to meet. Because in the early stages of recovery, it's easy to be powerless. It's easy to be open-minded. But get 20, 25, 30 years. See how closed-minded the fuck you are. I'm going to read it right out the literature because y'all think I'm making this up. I'm going to read it out the literature, and then I'm going to close out in a couple of minutes and say, I ain't going to do that much. I want to keep the convention joyful. We know, now this is how they're living clean. We know that indifference or intolerance towards spiritual principles is very dangerous for us. But sometimes we develop a different kind of intolerance after we've been clean for a while. After we've been clean for a while. Y'all know what for a while looks like. The old timers swinging their clean time flag over the meeting. Every business meeting they got the last say. We may develop a set of beliefs in recovery and resist anything that seems to threaten them or call them into question. Now that's scary. An attitude of indifference and intolerance. I'm back closed-minded at damn near 30 years clean because the things that have worked for me all these years, I'm afraid to let them go for something new and improved. You go to the store right now, you'll see 2 products on the shelf. One will say new and improved. Just like they got some new and improved whoop-ass for old-timers. I'll listen to the new people. I'm the hugger at my meeting. I hug all the newcomers coming in because I want to frisk your ass, make sure you ain't got no weapons and shit on you. That's my job. So instead of calling them surrender keepers, I would call them friskers. Frisk their ass. And the truth about that is the literature is very clear. That's what's changed is my belief system, my approach to my recovery. Surrender looks like this here with time. Everybody put their hands up. You can't smoke like this. You can't drink like this. You can't shoot no dope like this. You can't do nothing like this, but put your hands together and begin to pray. And once you begin to pray with an earnest heart, when we say, let's take a moment of silence, that means to cease the incessant chatter in my mind, because ADD is real. You cannot use dope and not have ADD. That's how the police got you. You wasn't paying attention. In our meetings, that's how the disease gets you. When he said we doing the readings, don't add nothing in, shut the fuck up. That's how the disease gets you, when you don't pay attention to the readings. If you don't learn nothing else here, learn to listen to the readings. The two most powerful words that make the difference in whether or not you live a life drug-free, clean, and serene, use the same alphabet. SILENT. LISTEN. If you can master those two words, you will have a life that offers unlimited growth, but you got to first learn to shut the fuck up. If you don't learn to be silent, you'll never listen. And if you don't never listen, you'll never learn nothing. All you'll know is what you know, and what you knew got your ass here hollering, help. Then you get here and we start helping your ass. You want to get an attitude about, you can't tell me what to do. Well, take your ass on back where you was. Ain't no big ass sign out saying addicts need it. But I got about 5 minutes. Me and Sweetie, we me and my mom, we stay together, and she's developed an attitude of indifference. So I called my main man, Mark. I says, listen, you need to come over and help me handle Sweetie, because she finna be 88. She still want to drive. She think because her car got a backup camera on it, she can back up. So what I've done is I've taken all the old rugs and carpeting off the floors and put them on her side of the garage. So when she back in, she just polished the paint. And I've taken the same approach with the people that I sponsor. I said, no, you ain't got to work no steps. Just keep on crashing into the wall. See which gives first, you or the wall. That's why our literature says, now indulges in these defects clouds our ability to think logically. You ain't never got to call me before you use your defect. Go and indulge in the defect. Just keep in mind the defect gonna have to get a turn. Then you want to call to my sponsor? No, motherfucker, you go and get finished. I learned that from Mark. Don't fuck with people while they're in the midst of shit. Leave people the fuck alone. Let them get through. Then and only then can we be helped to recover from the disease of addiction. You got to get through. When I'm in the midst of my defect, I don't want nobody bothering me. I got a pocket full of Viagra's and a bunch of money. Don't fuck with me. Leave me alone. I'm just saying. Well, I'm too old now to make up shit. You know what I mean? At some point in recovery, you get free to be you. That's what we come here to be, happy, joyous, and free. If you here at this convention, you ain't happy, joyous, and free, I'm going to give you what my sponsor gave me as a new guy. He says recovery ought to be like sex. And I'm like, okay, here's another one of these great mysteries of shit. And I say, well, what's that like, sponsor? He says it's supposed to be exciting and pleasurable. If it ain't, you ain't doing something right. So if your recovery ain't exciting, if your recovery ain't pleasurable, you ain't doing something right. My name is Tyrone. I keep coming.